Okay, problem number 4. Here's a kind of a different problem. We need to find the radius. If you look at it, it gives us our circumference of 38.33 meters, but we don't know what our radius is. And our radius is, if we look at that picture of the circle, is a line that goes from the center of the circle out to the outer edge. It has an X on it, which means we don't know what it is. So now comes the question, well, what formula do I use? Because I'm not solving for the circumference, I'm solving for a radius. Well, you're going to use the same formula. Circumference equals 2 pi r. You're going to use the same formula because we're dealing with circumference. We know that we're looking for a radius, and so we're going to use that same formula. We plug in what we know when we write our equation. Our circumference, C, equals 38.33. We know that 2 is just brought down. We know pi equals 3.14. And we bring our r down because we don't know what it is. Now this should look extremely familiar to you. This is an equation. It is a two-step equation. And so you solve this how we did it in Unit 6 when we were solving for equations. You just work your order of operations. We have 38.33 equals 2 times 3.14 times r. The first thing we're going to do is multiply that 2 and that 3.14. We bring everything else down. We bring down our 38.33. We bring down our equal sign. 2 times 3.14 equals 6.28. We bring that down. Now we have times r. Now what do? We can't times 6.28 times r because that doesn't make any sense. So we look at what operation is happening when it comes to our variable. It's multiplying. So we need to apply the inverse operation to solve for r. So we divide each side by 6.28. So I divide the right side by 6.28 and I divide the left side by 6.28, which means I put 38.33 in the box, 6.28 on the outside, or I just type it all into my calculator. 38.33 divided by 6.28. That gives me a radius of 6.10 meters. And I go ahead and I copy and paste my picture into the slide that has the picture banks because I can find that 6.10 meters in there. And so now I know my answer is correct. So when you are solving for a radius, again, you do the same exact things. You write your formula, you type or you substitute your values so you have an equation, you work your order of operations, you do what we learned on solving for an equation, and then you go ahead and that's what your answer is what you have left over.